Mathew Bowyer is here. He's written a brand new book called Recalibrate. He is has spent time as a bookie and was the guy that was working with Ippei Mizuhara when that gambling scandal broke last year. Mathew, thanks for coming in. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. So how did you get started being a bookie?
You know, I started betting when I was 12, 13 years old, and I never...
Where'd you grow up?
In Cypress, California.
Okay.
North Orange County.
Near Tiger Woods.
Yeah, he actually played on the Navy golf course where I grew up.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
saw him there all the time. I just didn't know who he was going to be.
Yeah.
All right, so you're a 12, 13-year-old kid. You're betting with your friends, maybe your dad, right?
Yeah, we would go to the racetrack, San Antonio, La Salle, and goof around. My family we gambled on everything from Yahtzee to Monopoly to whatever.
So it became sort of a thing that you always... Now, how did you become a bookmaker? How did you become a bookie? What was that transition? How old were you when you started all that stuff?
I mean, I started taking bets at 16, 17, but
goodness.
we're talking
just for like
small.
your friends.
Yeah. And it didn't become a business till I was 21. And I worked at a commodity brokerage firm. I was kind of like the Wolf of Wall Street atmosphere.
Nice.
Bunch of young
I
guys.
shouldn't say nice.
21 to
Out of
50.
control.
But it was all legal.
Yeah, it was all good.
And truth be told, they just made a lot of money. And they were gambling and doing a lot of things they shouldn't be because they're young guys that were very successful financially.
But so how did it work? Like, for example, if all three of us made bets with you and we all won, did you as the bookie ever get underwater?
Many times. Yes.
Yeah. So how do you do, like, what do you do when you don't have the money to pay us?
I had a great network and resources of people that believed in me and trusted me because I always, paid them
Took
back
care of
and
them?
gave them some juice and interest on money if I needed it. But I tried to learn as I got older how to mitigate that situation from occurring. When I was 25, which I talk about this in my book, I lost $5.7 million to a group of three guys, and that's when I ran into my first, over my head trouble.
Right.
Where I had to go take equity on my house, borrow money, and figure it out, and pay everybody. Because if you lose your reputation, you're out of business.
Right.
So what at its peak? What was the scale of your operation? Like what's the most money you were ever, I guess, handling at the same time?
Right when I got rated in October of 2023, I was probably at my peak. I had about 850 active clients, 1,200 customers, but never mind the number of clients, it was the volume. I did $1 billion in wagers in 2023. 326 million of that, of course, was Ippei Mizuhara, Shohei Ohtani's interpreter.
Yep.
Aside from that, I was taking bets from a lot of celebrities and athletes that were, putting some big numbers down. So because the amount of clients I had and the volume I had, it was a little easier to move the money around. Every Monday, I would have to move 5 to 7 million throughout the country.
And did you do this through legitimate banks, or do you have to, if you're doing a bookmaking operation, do you have to keep it away from the banks?
I mean, you're definitely running some of it through banks, but a lot of people are being paid in cash, crypto, even Cash App, Venmo, Apple Pay.
Oh, sure. That was probably a game changer in your industry.
It really was. It made things a lot easier to move it around. And, of course, the nuance of figuring out how to pay, let's say 600 people win and 600 people lose that Monday. You got to get the 600 people that won paid right away, and you got to move that money around. So I would incentivize my customers to pay early so that I could use their funds to transfer throughout the country.
Right.
Because clearly Cash App, Venmo, all these things.
Yeah, it's the old, you were robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Former bookie Mathew Bowyer is here. His book is called Recalibrate. Now let's get to this. How did you wind up working with Ippei Mizuhara?
In 2021, I went to a poker game in San Diego, California. I was friendly with a couple of the Angels baseball players playing golf. Obviously, some of them were playing with me through my sports book. And I was invited to a private poker game, which the team went to after the game. And Ippei Mizuhara was there along with about 3 or 4 other players.
Shohei there?
No, he was not.
Okay.
Mike Trout, no, people that asked me about the 2 big names.
Yeah.
They weren't there, but they were in the hotel. But I'm sure they were sleeping, watching a movie or whatever. That being said, Ippei was on his phone and making a sports wager. So a buddy of mine who worked for me as an agent just went up to him and said, "Hey man, I see you're betting on soccer. Matt does that." And that's how the introduction occurred.
Got it.
So you start working with Ippei, and at this point that he's Shohei's interpreter, obviously,
Absolutely.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
The question that everybody asks, that you probably get asked more than anything, do you think Shohei knew what Ippei was doing?
I do, yes.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
That's my honest opinion.
What's your, do you have or what's your thought process on that?
I don't have any factual evidence because I wasn't watching this process of Ippei and Shohei having this conversation. So I want to be clear. It's just my opinion. And the reason I have this opinion is because, number one, I don't see, which everyone says this, how you don't see $17 million leaving your bank account over almost a 2-year period.
Right.
Number two, Tisha Thompson, who works for ESPN, you guys know that,
Mm-hmm.
is an amazing journalist and reporter. She had a 90-minute conversation with Ippei the day before all this broke.
Yep.
And in that conversation, I've been told by her directly that he admitted, Ippei that is, that Shohei is the one who sent the first wire and knew about it. So, of course, that got retracted, and he was.
Well, let me just ask a follow up to that. So, whenever the FBI is always looking to get the biggest fish, right? That's their thing. So, why were they not able to? I'm sure they investigated, link this to Shohei, if as you suggest, he may have known about it.
Well, the linking is, did he gamble? And I don't believe he did gamble.
Okay.
I want to be clear on that.
Okay.
I do believe he knew
that Ippei was gambling.
Yes, and I do believe he was kind enough to help his friend. And this is all my assumption, by the way. I do believe Shohei Ohtani is completely innocent. I don't think he made any sports bets. But I think the Dodgers, this is all my opinion, the Dodgers and MLB wanted this thing to be brushed away clearly for the right reasons. He didn't do anything wrong. And there is a law, or I should say a rule, that MLB provides that you cannot be involved with an illegal bookmaker.
Yep.
So I think it's easier for them to just say, look, man, he knew nothing about it.
Yeah, lone wolf.
Mm-hmm.
The old Tim Donaghy thing. And we're talking to Matt Bowyer, who is the bookie that Ippei Mizuhara was using, and $326 million he bet with you.
Correct. 19,000 wagers.
Was he good at paying when he lost until the end?
He was very honorable, but when you say good, he wasn't paying in full. He still owes me $26 million at the moment.
Okay.
Wow.
But in the beginning, did you have trouble getting him to pay, or was he a good customer?
No, very honorable, which is why the numbers got to where they were.
Right.
And to be honest with you, I believe that his gambling addiction just led him to tapping into this account without Shohei's knowledge.
Yep.
That's my opinion, again, because I believe, in my opinion, Shohei just said, look, you need to borrow a few dollars. You're my interpreter. We're best friends.
We'll put it in this account.
Yeah,
go
ahead.
If you need it, use it.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I don't think he ever anticipated the numbers being this high, or, and again, I'm just assuming.
Yep.
Maybe just started, tapping this account basically every time the Angels paid him, because if you go back and look
Dodgers paid him.
No, Angels.
Oh,
this is when he was with
this
the
is back when he was with the Angels.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the truth be told is that what I've found out is that this account was not his endorsement account, of course. It was the Angels' paychecks.
Gotcha.
Which were much smaller than clearly the endorsement accounts.
Yes.
You know, and I believe that he just tapped that because the wire transfers were coming in kind of every few weeks, and he was never able to wire the right amount. It was always 500,000, and I believe he had to wait for the paycheck to hit on the wire.
So
do
you think he was betting with you only, or he was betting with another book?
I believe that would have came out if he was betting with somebody else. The FBI does a very good job of, their homework, and again, I don't think he was betting.
One of the things that's fascinating, and I want you to talk about this coming up next, is the sheer number of bets that Ippei had.
19,000, he said.
19,000. And I want to know how you manage that many bets in such a short period of time. We've got Mathew Bowyer here. The book is called Recalibrate. He was the bookie that Ippei Mizuhara used.
And one thing, Matt's going to jail in 9 days,
9
right?
days.
Yeah, so we'll talk to him about that coming up, too.
Mason and Ireland, 710 ESPN.
Back here, brought to you by Cerritos Auto Square, but Matt Bowyer is here. He's the bookmaker who took $326 million in bets from Ippei Mizuhara, who was the interpreter for Shohei Ohtani. And, Matt, I mentioned it before the break. You're going to jail in 9 days. Why? What were you charged with?
I got charged for 10 years. Well, I was facing 10 years for money laundering, 5 years for falsified tax return, and 3 years for illegal bookmaking. And the judge, because of my mitigation and because of the things I did, speaking to USC kids and giving back to the community, he gave me a year and a day.
A year and a day.
And you were saying that when it's fascinating to me that all this kind of was happening recently, like in 2023. I'm curious how you got caught. What brought you down?
Actually, everyone thinks it's the Shohei Ohtani scandal, and that really came out later. What caught me was the Las Vegas casinos and the scandal that is going on currently, which my case is still going, and I advanced my sentencing so that I could move on with my life.
Right.
That scandal and that, or I should say, that case is still ongoing. And
this is a Resorts World case,
correct.
I know some people involved with that, but
so I wanted to ask, how does it feel every day to know you're doing something illegal and you're potentially going to be caught? Like, I would imagine the weight of that is pretty heavy.
Yeah, to be honest, the best and worst day of my life was October 5th, 2023, because, yes, I was making a lot of money, and yes, I enjoyed the lifestyle, and yes, I provided a great life for my kids, but exactly what you said is always in the back of your head. You know, are they coming again? Because I was raided in 2014, and so I went through that process, and even though I wasn't arrested or charged any crime, I still worried about it happening again.
Sure.
But at the same time, I was so greedy in my business, and I was 39 years old, and I didn't want to go become a doctor or a lawyer at 39. I'm a father of 4 at the time.
Yep.
I just went right back to what worked for me and, you know, what was providing a great lifestyle.
I read somewhere in an interview you did, Matt, that you believe 15 to 20% of professional athletes gamble on sports.
No, I believe 50%.
50.
Wow.
Percent.
Active players?
Yes.
What about in their own sport?
No.
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 Okay.
Okay.
That makes a little big difference in my head. In other
Sure.
words, if somebody's using a bookmaker to do something. Now, did Ippei bet on baseball?
Never did.
Never did.
Not one wager.
How did he get so many bets in? Because there was thousands and
Yeah, good
thousands
question.
and thousands of bets.
Soccer all day, all night.
Really?
In different countries that you've never heard of. I mean, I've never had, and listen, I've been seeing this for 30 years. I've never seen a client bet so many weird, obscure soccer countries that I've never heard of in my life.
Really?
And was he unlucky or really bad at it or both?
Both.
Okay. Yeah.
But the truth is, he made so many wagers, as we just said,
Yeah.
that you can't overcome that over time anyway. I mean, anyone who makes money betting sports, which is less than 1% really,
Right.
has to be, so knowledgeable on what they're doing.
Yeah.
Handicapping, robots, algorithms, things that, they use to beat the spread really and overcome the juice. He wasn't doing any of that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you heard us talking during a commercial, Mace, but I just got done, I think you did too, watching Cocaine Quarterback.
Yes, Cocaine
about
Quarterback.
Owen Hansen, and you're friends with Owen Hansen. You know him.
Yeah. In fact, I tell a very vivid story in my book of how we met, where we almost went to blows for the first meeting. It's a great.
Were you on opposite sides of a bet, obviously?
I was betting with him. He was
Okay.
he was a bookmaker as well, and I kind of mentored him after we met because I had a much bigger operation. But
Sure.
he's a great kid. He's overcome a lot. I mean, he was involved in things that I was never involved in.
Sure.
But he's come a long way. I'm really proud of him to overcome the adversity.
By the end of that miniseries, that documentary, you can see he's kind of working towards turning his life around, which is what I wanted to ask you.
Yep.
You're going to jail in 9 days. You're going to go to jail for a year. Do you think this whole episode stops you from gambling, or when you get out, are you going right back to it?
I'm forced to not gamble now.
Right.
I'm very honest. So for me to sit here and say I'm never going to gamble again would be a complete lie to you. My wife, though, is going to have a problem with the moment I choose to gamble.
Right. And now, has your wife? Have you been married to the same woman throughout all this?
10 years I've been with my wife, so no.
Okay.
I have a previous marriage, which were great friends and all
Right.
get along and spend time together.
Right.
So
But do you think your current marriage, survives your jail term?
I guarantee it does.
Oh, you
Good. That's-
okay. Your
that's
wife's being supportive.
Beyond, she's amazing.
So good for you.
So
That's
what
great.
kind? I mean, that's a weird. What kind of jail are you going to be in?
I'm going to it's Lompoc. It's a federal camp in Northern California, where there's no fences, and you're going to have count, and you're going to be obviously I'll have to have a job. And
Right.
It's going to be uncomfortable eating crappy food and not being able to have your freedom, but it's not high security or maximum prison where you're in a cell all day. I'll be able to exercise and do things that are somewhat normal.
So I would have thought that the job bookie would have been eliminated by legal gambling all over the country. How does a bookie survive in a world where some guy in Ohio or some guy in Oregon can actually make bets legally?
It actually didn't hurt my business when I was in it at all. So 2018, it became legal in most states. I would say that my business rose from 18 to 23. Wow. And let me tell you why. When you're betting sports, I'm going to give you a great example.
Okay.
Let's just pretend that you're a $100 wager. You want to bet 10 football games on a Saturday. That's clearly about $1,100 with the juice. Well, if you only put in your DraftKings or FanDuel or whatever legal entity,
sure,
$1,100,
right,
and your games are all going, and you want to bet more games, you can't.
Yeah.
So with a bookie who gives you credit, you could just ask for more credit in 2 seconds, or he's going to give you a $5,000 credit line, knowing that even though you only bet $100, he just gives you plenty of room to play.
Right.
And here's the other problem. Let's say that you are a person that bets at 10 a.m. on NFL games, and you bet 10 games, and they're all going on. It's overtime in a few, or you lost a couple. Until they're graded, you can't even bet that money on the next set of games at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it locks you up. And then
so the bookie, you don't have any of these issues.
Yeah, right.
You know, you could just hand. So, and by the way, let's say I'm a client of yours. How do I bet with you? Am I texting you? Am I emailing you? Am I calling you? How do you execute it?
It's no different than FanDuel or DraftKings. You have I have a web portal that you go on, and you can call the 800 number or get online at any time. And it's an app just like you would there.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, the other thing that people don't talk about when you go to FanDuel or DraftKings, it's a financial colonoscopy to open an account.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're hiding things from your wife, which most people are gambling,
Mm-hmm.
or girlfriend or whatnot, you can't hide that when it's all in a bank statement or your credit card or debit card or whatnot.
What would you say to somebody who is struggling with compulsive gambling right now?
I would definitely recommend they stop gambling immediately, go get help, go to Gamblers Anonymous, see a therapist. The more that they dig into that problem, and clearly they're not good at it
Mm-hmm.
and can't control it, it's just going to get worse over time.
And for a bookie, how hard is it to collect when they don't want to pay you?
Well, if they don't want to pay you, unless you want to go to prison where I'm going, you better let it go. I mean, you have to vet the customer up front, and you have to do all your homework initially. Most bookmakers now don't chase these, debts. I mean, of course, they'll put a little pressure on them, but they're not going to continue to beat down a guy's door and threaten him. I mean, if they do, they're just really ridiculously stupid.
Yeah.
Matt, if I gave you a do-over, you look back in the last 15 years of your life, what would you use it on? What would you do differently?
I would use my talents and skills to do something in the legal side.
Okay.
Maybe I could be a CEO of DraftKings or FanDuel, or maybe why couldn't I be a CEO of Verizon or Apple? I have the talents to do it.
You know what it reminds me of? Remember that movie with DiCaprio, Catch Me If You Can? He played
Oh,
a character named Frank
Abagnale. Yep.
And then he was so good at forging checks that they hired him.
Yep.
I was just thinking that while I was listening to you talk here. If I was trying to figure out an illegal gambling ring, I would hire you. I mean, then I don't know if you'll get that opportunity. You got to serve your sentence first. But I would think that you could probably tell them more than they could figure out just investigating without you.
I agree with you. I think I'm going to use my talents to go talk to college kids, NFL teams, athletes, save them from making the mistakes that some of these athletes do, which they ruin their career because
we were talking about that before you got here. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, getting involved with an illegal bookmaker for a 19-year-old kid is just a disaster waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, think about this. If they're really good athletes, but not good enough to be pros, they're tempted to rig a game, fix a game, and even more so if they get into a gambling debt.
Right.
So if I could prevent that so they don't ruin their careers or their lives, and I get paid to do that, that's a great career for me.
All right. Hey, the book is called Recalibrate. It's written by Mathew Bowyer. We wish you
some peace.
When
you go to jail.
I was like, what do you wish?
Well, I mean, a trouble-free year, Matt. How about that?
Listen, guys, what's happening to me is the best thing that ever happened in my life. I'm walking into prison with my head held high. I'll come out strong. I'll rebuild. It's just part of the book. It's part of the story.
All right, last thing for you. Are you worried at all that you might run into somebody in prison that you had a beef with out there?
Not at all.
Yeah. No. It just you figured that you've settled all lost debts, at least as far as you know?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And I'll handle anything that comes in front of me.
Well, thank you for coming in.
Yeah,
man.
Matthew, thank you. It's unbelievably fascinating stuff. I can't wait to read the book.